Howdy, folks. I'm Brian,
I'm Amber.
and here's some Reddit. Our first story is titled, Am I a Jerk for Being Mad at My Wife for Causing a Scene at a Restaurant? My wife has a long-lasting issue with her mother. She hasn't spoken to her in 6 years. To be frank, I've never understood why my wife doesn't want her mother around. All I know is the relationship went south after my father-in-law divorced my mother-in-law. It was a decision they both made, so I don't get why she keeps punishing her mother like that. I was open to having meetings with my mother-in-law. I have been in contact with her for a year, and my wife knew. She said it's up to me to want to have a relationship with her mom, but I shouldn't try to make her reestablish a relationship with her. Things remained the same for months. My mother-in-law would see my wife a few times a week, but they didn't talk. And I just thought that my wife and mother-in-law were stuck in this conflict and needed one meeting to at last open up and tackle the issue, especially before our son is born. I arranged a dinner at a restaurant on Mother's Day. My wife thought it was just the two of us, but I kept giving her hints about the person I was expecting. My mother-in-law arrived, and next thing I knew, my wife got up from her seat and started yelling in front of everybody. I told her that her mom tried many times to reconcile, but she was being unfair with her grudge, holding an attitude, and not giving her a chance for a sincere talk. All I asked was for her to sit down and talk things out with her mother. She said she didn't want to see her, especially on this day, and she thought I was doing this for her mom as a mom. And I was. I begged her to sit down, and I'd get her mom to leave if she was bothered that much, but she didn't listen. My mother-in-law was standing behind crying while everyone was looking. My wife took her phone and then her purse and left. I had mixed feelings, but I mostly felt upset. Things played out different than what I had in my mind, since my wife had no problem with her mom speaking to me. My wife has been staying with a friend for a week. I visited her twice to talk, and every time we ended up arguing. I told her that she didn't need to cause a scene at the restaurant and could have been a little more graceful to sit down with her mom at the table and talk, and she said I needed to blame myself. I asked her, didn't Mother's Day mean anything to her? All I got was a cold stare. Really? That's so surprising, OP. I would never have guessed that you would just get a cold stare from a statement like that. That seems like the kind of statement that would just get your wife to open up and just be like, oh, you know what? You're right. In the spirit of Mother's Day, I'm just completely missing it. I've seen it all now. Growing up without my mother made my life incomplete. I never had a mother figure in my life, and it's because of my father. I just think everyone should count their blessings, and she should realize it's never too late to fix the problem between her and her mother if she chooses to see how lucky she is to have her mother alive. But she kept blaming me for the scene at the restaurant and said she wouldn't forget that day, and flat out told me, you know what's the worst thing about betrayal? It never comes from an enemy. This complicated the matter more. I thought about what went wrong, and it's clear my wife isn't even willing to try. Edit. I'm 23. Alright, OP. So let me get this straight. Your wife told you that under no circumstances that she wanted to reconcile with her mother. She didn't say she was open to it. She didn't say that maybe someday she'll want to sit down and talk with her mother. She said, leave me out of it. But you decided to violate this boundary and force her to try to sit down and talk with her mother. And then you did this not only in a public place, in a public space, but you also did this, in a, kind of a trick way, that you were in a deceptive way. And you're surprised that she made a scene, and you think she should have been more graceful with this. OP, the thing is that you are very much the jerk in the situation. You really should not have forced your wife into the situation. She established the boundaries. She told you where she stood. And just because you feel like she's taking her mother for granted doesn't give you the right to force her into a relationship with her mother. I would not be surprised with as much as betrayed as your wife seems from this if she doesn't stay your wife for very long. You just need to beg for forgiveness. You don't need to continue to blame her for making a scene at the restaurant. You need to say, I realize now that I'm a jerk and that I put you into a really bad position. I'm so sorry. Please just forgive me. Because if you don't beg for forgiveness, then really, I just don't know that there's going to be any hope for your relationship here. So, yeah. Anyhow, take care and good luck. You're the jerk, respect her boundaries. Surprising her with a boundary violation on Mother's Day is gross. Your own issue with your own mother have nothing to do with your wife's relationship with hers. Exactly. I arranged dinner at a restaurant on Mother's Day. My wife thought it was just the two of us, but I kept giving her hints about the person I was expecting. And that is why you're the jerk, OP. You should have told your wife you invited her mother. You didn't because you knew your wife wouldn't have come. You have disrespected your wife completely. You overstepped so far, I don't know if your relationship will recover. The worst part in all of this is you still don't understand what you did was wrong and why it was wrong. You caused the scene by arranging this meal. You broke your wife's trust. You cannot control your wife's relationship with her mother. You're the jerk. I think those two comments about sum it up. All right, our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Moving Back Out After My Parents Demanded I Follow Their Rules? This is my first post, and I'm on mobile, so apologies if I get it wrong. I'm a 22-year-old male, and I just finished college and went back to my hometown while I was figuring out what to do next. I was planning to share an apartment with my old friends, but my parents wanted me to move back in to help them out. COVID hit them hard, and they are struggling to pay their bills, so they wanted me to move in and pay rent. I said okay because I wanted to help them out. It was all well and good until 3 days after I moved in. My mother came in around 9 p.m. saying I had enough screen time and I needed to go to bed. I thought this was ridiculous because I'm an adult paying rent. They have no right to demand this. She said, "You're living under my roof. I make the rules." I went along with it for the night, and then the next morning I went and took my laptop back from their room. She proceeded to ground me for disobeying her authority. I had enough of this. I called the people I was going to room with and asked if they still had a spot. They said yes, so I packed up and moved in with them. Now my family is hounding me for not supporting my family. OP, of course you're the jerk in this situation. You should always be under your parents' thumb and obey their authority, especially if you're living in their house paying rent. I mean, what are parents for other than bossing you around for your entire life? I mean, of course I'm joking here. And no, you're not the jerk. This is just ridiculous. Your parents, you were doing them a favor by moving in and paying rent and helping them out. And now they're shocked Pikachu that you decided that, hey, I don't need this junk, and you moved out. No, OP, you're not a jerk. I think the only place that you may have gone wrong here is you didn't give them notice, and you didn't establish what the rules were ahead of time before moving back in. I mean, I'm sure you thought that it was just going to be kind of a chill environment, so to speak, that they were just going to be, letting you hang out and pay rent and stuff like that. But, clearly it did not turn into the situation that you thought. So really, again, the only place I fault you here is you should have sat down with them and said that, look, listen, I'm going to move out if you continue to try to exercise authority over me. Plain and simple. And then that way it would have at least given them the opportunity to say, oh, hey, you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe you deserve respect for, paying rent. I see these ones often enough on Reddit that I, often wonder what parents are thinking when, their children move back in and start paying rent, only for them to be like, oh, hey, now I'm going to exercise ultimate authority over you. Like, it's almost like the parents just forgotten that their kids are grown up and are adults and can make their own rules now. So yeah, I mean, certainly when you're living with people and when you're living with parents, especially, boundaries need to be established. There needs to be set rules, chore lists and stuff like that for everyone to, accomplish. Otherwise, there could be a great deal of, I guess, abuse on either side that can occur in the respect of not following these boundaries. So yeah, it's just really unfortunate that it kind of came to this, but I really honestly don't blame you for moving out at all. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Not the jerk. Grounding a 22-year-old man and taking away his computer is totally ridiculous. Even if you didn't pay rent, which you do, you tried to help them out and they treated it like they were doing you a favor. Go, 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 and don't look back. Bingo. The very idea is preposterous. If they wanted support, they should have extended respect. Not the jerk. I might get talking to him if he's bringing randos home at 2 in the morning, but screen time at 9 p.m. might be an okay conversation with an 11-year-old, not a 22-year-old. Exactly. Haha, too funny. Tell them to make an ad for a tenant and make sure to put in that they'll be controlling that tenant's screen and bedtime, and that they must obey all house rules or else be grounded. Not the jerk. Yeah, exactly. Our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for telling my bridesmaid that she needs to get a bigger size dress? I'm getting married in the fall, and I love the bridesmaid dresses I picked out with my sisters. They fit them well and show a little cleavage, but not too much. I'm pretty conservative, and my wedding will probably represent that. Anyway, one of my cousins is also a bridesmaid. She's super short and skinny, but big-chested. Anyway, she chose a size that is really small, so it fits her body well, but her breasts are literally falling out of it. She originally tried it on with a bra, and over half the bra cups were showing. She then took the bra off and are about 1 centimeter away from a nip slip. Anyway, I told her that the color looked really good on her, but I was a little worried about how the dress would hold up during the dancing and reception. I suggested that she get a larger size. I also suggested that she get the dress altered so it would fit both her body and her breasts. She refused. She said she loves how the dress looks on her, and she wants to feel confident when she's standing up there with me. Now I have no idea what to do. Am I the jerk for telling her that she has to fix the dress or not be in the wedding? Alright, OP. Let me get this straight. You approved of the dresses, and you think they look great on your sisters, and you're afraid that your cousin is going to, wear the dress? I mean, the thing is this, you already picked out these dresses. She's wearing the dress the way she likes it. If an incident were to happen, then that would be on her, but I'm pretty sure as an adult, she's well aware of the risks of wearing a dress like this. So anyhow, I really honestly don't know what you're worried about in this case. It seems like you're worried that she's going to have like a nip slip, but this again, it seems like largely her responsibility. And I mean, I can understand if you don't want something to go wrong at your wedding here, and that you are concerned about this. But again, you approved of these dresses, and you shouldn't force her to get it modified just so that you're not worried about something happening like that. So yeah, I would think that you would be a jerk if you told her that she has to get the dress modified, especially since she's probably paying for it herself, and so she's also going to have to pay for the modifications. So, I mean, maybe she'll want to wear this dress later, another time. And that would be, if she had to modify it, then she probably isn't going to like it as much. So I think in this particular case, yeah, you have pretty little ground to stand on for forcing her to get it modified. Yeah. So anyhow, take care and good luck. If the size of the dress she's wearing is her size, it sounds like you picked a style of dress that shows breasts when someone has big breasts. Why would you make her buy a size that's too big because you didn't think about how different body types would fit a low-cut dress? You're the jerk. I had this issue when I was a bridesmaid. I was out of state, so I sent the shop my measurements. They sent me a dress that fit my breasts, but I was swimming in fabric everywhere else. I paid $250 for the dress and another $300 for a local seamstress to pretty much recut and remake the whole gown. Yeah, that seems pretty much like what would happen in this case too. She would have to spend, a huge amount of money just to get the dress redone. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider giving it a like. If you didn't, consider giving it a dislike. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye. I said bye.
I know. I was just being a maniac.
I was like, why are you scaring him? You already said it.
I'm deaf. I can't hear. Edit. Hello. When I posted this, it said it was removed. Oh, I don't even really need to read this edit. This edit does not have relevant... Oh, wait. Why am I scrolling to the comments? I don't need to scroll to the comments either. I'm all messed up.